Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into a completely counterintuitive ancient practice for maximizing human aliveness. We're talking about a philosophical concept that, okay, sure, it might sound a little morbid at first glance, but I promise you, it's actually the ultimate tool to snap you off autopilot and get you living with some intense vitality.
Think about this question for a second. If today was your last ordinary Tuesday, would your life be worth dying for? It's a pretty jarring question to ask yourself, isn't it? But as we look at the source material across philosophy and psychology, this right here is the ultimate wake-up call to snap us out of our daily trance. We're going to unpack exactly how confronting our own mortality is actually the most powerful way to start truly living.
Let's kick things off with Section 1, the near miss of comfort and why avoiding the dark side creates a vanilla existence.
You see, modern society constantly tells us that a good life is simply one free of stress, right? It pushes us to hide from death and lean heavily into this toxic positivity. But that is a massive near miss of the truth. The ancient Stoics, they took the exact opposite approach. They kept death right at their elbow. Instead of treating death as this terrible enemy to flee from, they saw it as an inspiring stalker that literally forced them to do justice to the life they were currently living.
The research we're analyzing from UPenn shows that shielding ourselves from this darkness actually just leads to a vanilla existence. By avoiding the reality of death, we end up living in this pseudo-satisfying trance. We waste hours on trivial things and throw away our time as if we have 10,000 years to burn. It's a lukewarm, totally stagnant way to experience the world.
Which brings us to Section 2, Jumper Cables for the Soul, and the power of embracing appropriate negativity.
So how do we blast out of that autopilot state? We use Memento Mori, which translates from Latin to remember you must die. Now, as the research clearly points out, this isn't meant to be some depressing, morbid thing, not at all. It acts as literal jumper cables for the human soul. It provides the exact perspective we need to participate in our own lives with fierce urgency.
I mean, even Marcus Aurelius, literally the most powerful man in the world at the time, constantly whispered this heavyweight truth to himself to stay grounded. Just imagine having the entire Roman Empire at your fingertips and still reminding yourself daily, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. That is exactly how you keep your ego in check and align your actions with what actually matters.
And here's the thing. As highlighted in the UPenn paper, the world death rate is holding incredibly steady at exactly 100%. It is the ultimate unifying human condition. It absolutely doesn't matter if you're a Roman emperor or a modern-day office worker. It's the one inescapable truth we all share.
Moving right along to Section 3, the power of temporal scarcity, economics applied to human life.
So why does Memento Mori actually work? It comes down to temporal scarcity. In economics, when a resource is scarce, its perceived value spikes, right? Well, your time is the ultimate scarce asset. Framing your life with an expiry date makes every single moment infinitely more precious. When time is perceived as finite and diminishing, its value completely skyrockets in our minds.
Consider how the Stoic philosopher Seneca viewed time. He famously warned that we are essentially dying prematurely by living for a future that isn't even promised to us. He pointed out that whatever years are behind us are already in death's hands. Think about that. The only thing we actually have any control over is the present moment.
In Seneca's letters to his friend Lucilius, he reminds us that we are literally dying daily. This shifts our focus entirely to holding today's task firmly in our grasp. He recognized that the major portion of death isn't waiting for us in the future, it's everything in the past.
And by acknowledging that your countdown timer is ticking, all those secondary things just fall away. This expiry date effect completely erases our fear of what other people think. It shifts priorities away from trivial arguments. Because at the end of life, we rarely regret the risks we took, do we? We regret the roads not taken and the authentic versions of ourselves that we were too afraid to show the world.
This leads us to Section 4, the Stoic mental gym, training the mind to handle life's crosswinds.
But okay, how do we actually practice this when modern stressors hit? You know, like a boss demanding more sales or an email with no subject line. Epictetus, who, by the way, survived the horrors of slavery to become a great philosopher, taught that mental resilience has to be trained exactly like physical muscles. In the mental gym, the equipment might be invisible, but the cognitive overrides you perform every day are absolutely crucial for building that resilience.
This mental training starts with the dichotomy of control.
This is all about remapping your definition of success so it depends entirely on your own execution, rather than the external scoreboard. Think of an archer. You control your aim and the release, but once that arrow flies, the wind is totally out of your hands. If you can decouple your psychological safety from the outcome, you essentially become invincible.
The Stoics also did this fascinating thing where they performed a mental premortem on their lives. It's called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Modern psychology now recognizes this as an amazing inoculation against the shock of adverse events. By envisioning worst-case scenarios or contemplating the loss of things you value, you don't become a pessimist, you actually drastically enhance your gratitude for what you have right now.
When life throws raw, stressful data at you, Epictetus demands that we use a cognitive override. We have to pause and examine the impression before it takes root and dictates our actions. Modern neuroscience calls this countering an amygdala hijack. Just taking a single breath to engage your parasympathetic nervous system gives you the critical space to logically restructure your thoughts before you just blindly react.
And finally, Section 5, becoming astonishingly alive, living wider and deeper.
Because ultimately, the goal of all this mortality reflection isn't to become some cold, emotionless robot. No way! We reach the absolute pinnacle of this philosophy with amor fati, or the love of fate. This is where we don't just tolerate what happens to us, but we actively embrace it. You don't just bear pain, you love it, recognizing that it's exactly what makes the human experience profound.
The whole Stoic goal here is maximal aliveness. Death becomes the animating condition that motivates us to be astonishingly alive. It's the ultimate reminder that life is a wild, precious ride that absolutely shouldn't be squandered. It pushes us to build lives that are both wide with intense vitality and deeply rooted in purpose, rather than just surviving on autopilot.
The philosopher Albert Camus perfectly captured this sentiment. He basically said that true happiness requires acknowledging life's hardships while still positively affirming the beauty of the entire ride. You literally have to take the white threads of joy and the black threads of suffering and braid them together to truly experience this world. So, I want to leave you with this final provocative thought. Stop waiting for a wake-up call from a crisis. Use your mortality today as the ultimate tool to prioritize what truly matters. Take a look at your life right now, embrace the reality of your limits, and ask yourself, if you knew for certain there are only so many tomorrows left, what is the one thing you would do right now?